Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to cover GitHub Enterprise Cloud, and we'll touch on GitHub Enterprise Advanced Security, also referred to as GAS. I'm going to touch on actions, packages, and code spaces, and we're going to build and commit. So you'll see pull requests and then approving those pull requests and how it goes through CodeQL, through actions, and building all that through Visual Studio Code in a code space. So we're going to cover that in this video here. Now, one thing I'm trying to do is unify some of the applications between GitHub and OpenShift for this channel. And some things that I'm running are referred to as an action. It's a CI process that is embedded into GitHub. And I'm currently in the process of leveraging actions to run on OpenShift, using OpenShift essentially as the self-hosted runner location for those. And we'll cover those in future videos. I hope to bring that to you. In this one here, I just really wanted to demonstrate some of the overarching features of GitHub Enterprise Cloud. So this isn't the open source version. This is a Cloud Enterprise with some of the more advanced functionality. All right, so let's get started. So in this demonstration, this is kind of a canned demo from GitHub. But let me just kind of cover some of the things here. All the code was pre-written, so I didn't build any of this Bookstore demo stuff. We do have packages. Packages are the way that when you're building and compiling, you can store them as a package or as a container image within the GitHub container registry. So let's go ahead and we'll take a look at this. And we'll see that we've got one package here. And here's, if you want to pull it, this is how you would pull that out, again, from the GitHub container registry. So it's stored there. So essentially, it's compiled and stored within GitHub. All right. And we do have one production environment that we're using. If the back button would work. And we can see here we have a production environment. When we go to do our builds, we'll deploy those into a staging, and we'll approve them through pull requests. Then we'll complete the merge process from there. At the top bar here, you'll see we've got issues. We've got an issue request here. Let's add a feature for ratings into our main branch. We're going to go ahead and do that. We've also got some pull requests already a part of this. You notice that these are dependency tags, and these tags are from Dependabot. So Dependabot essentially is a feature that's running in the background and looks at your code and says, well, there's known vulnerabilities between, let's say, 2.13 or 4.13 to 4.13.2. So it's automatically putting in a pull request for you to advance your code to the release that no longer has that vulnerability in it. It doesn't take you necessarily to the latest. It just automatically recommends you to jump to the version that no longer has that vulnerability. So a cool feature there. We do have some actions, again, that are predefined as part of this, and actions are the CI process for GitHub. We'll see we got build, test, we've got some cleanup of the PR environments, the pull request environments, we've got image scanning, destroying or cleaning up the environment, labeling things, and the pull request for code coverage. Code coverage will give us an analysis after everything is done. So again, I didn't write all these. I can't really go into these in depth, but if we want to take a look at the build, test, and publish one, let's go to code, and we could go to GitHub, and then there should be workflows. Yep, and then under workflows, here's where the actions are. So we take a look at one of these actions, you'll kind of see how this is all framed out, right? So we've got jobs that are running. This is all based on YAML. Jobs that are running. It's going to build these for Linux and for Windows using Java 11. And here's then the steps. These are the actions that it's using. Set up Java. We can see here's GitHub scripting, and then here's where it's actually starting to do the build using Maven. Now, if you want to see what actions are available to you, you can just go to the marketplace. So if we do GitHub Actions Marketplace, there's over 11,000 actions that are available. Oh, look, over 12,000 that are available here. And some of these are verified. Verified would essentially mean like they're from the vendor themselves. So if you want to look at, let's say, OpenShift. Right, here's some Red Hat actions that are provided, right? So you've got OpenShift login, client installer. This is the one that I'm using right now, the OpenShift self-hosted runner. We're not gonna demo that in this video. We'll show you that in another one. And then so these are verified. You can also, if you're doing Docker, and here's some canned actions that are provided by Docker and from other third parties as well. All right, so definitely check out the marketplace if you're looking at kind of simplifying your workflows and you want to leverage actions to do that. All right, so back to our demonstration here. Under security, there's a few things that are running. We've got secret scanning. Secret scanning, there are some canned secrets that it's known to look for, like tokens related to Azure, AWS, GCP, that kind of thing. It also look for the GitHub actions or GitHub secrets, but you can also create custom patterns. So if we go here into secret scanning, you see that it's found the Google API key, and it also tells you exactly where that key is detected. So you can go in and either remove that key, or better yet, nullify that key and rotate it out of use. You can create custom patterns here. In my internal lab, I'm running GitHub Enterprise Server, and on that one I have custom patterns for looking for RSA keys, OpenSSH, and other tokens that are reflected to my particular environment. So you can do custom patterns, but there's a lot that's provided as part of secret scanning as well. Now, one of the new features with secret scanning is referred to as push protections. And push protections, if that's enabled, that would ensure that if it detects that there's a secret, like this token, a part of the code, then it will prevent that from being committed into your repo. So definitely check that out. I think it's beta right now, but when it goes GA, it'll be a really great feature to help provide continual protection, security protection for your repos. Under code scanning here, we've got this repo, by the way, is built for errors. So you're going to see a lot of CVEs and such that are being detected. And sure enough, we've got a lot of them here. And in this, if we just take a look at one of the CVEs, like this log4j, so it's got scanning enabled, and as it goes through looking all this, again, it tells you, where it's been detected at. But I really like this show more feature. So if you go to show more, it provides a link and some additional information, but this link will then drop you right to the CVE page, so you can get information on that as well. All right, so really good stuff here as far as trying to troubleshoot and isolate your issues. All right, and dependency bot or dependabot, we talked about that. So it's going to look for things and automatically create pull requests associated with CVEs. If we look at settings, settings, we can configure actions. If you've had other runners you want to configure, you can configure those runners here. You see we have some runners that are set at the organization level. And then, of course, for the code security and analysis, here's where you can put in those custom patterns. If you wanted to secret scanning, you can do custom patterns at the repo level. You can do them at the org level. I prefer some custom patterns to be defined at the enterprise level. That way, if there's standard keys like RSA, SSH, or just certificate keys, private keys you want to ensure are not ever pushed into repo, or at least detected, so you can rotate those. Do those at the enterprise level, then the orgs and repos don't need to create custom patterns, or they're not reliant on those custom patterns. They can be forced at the enterprise level. Okay, great. So now we're at demo time. So again, I just really want to do that overview first of all, and then we can kind of jump into what we're going to do. All right. So we've got a couple of things we want to make changes to. We want to add a star rating, and of course we want to also apply this book search for our online bookstore. And let's go ahead and take a look at, before we do that, let's take a look at our production environment. And you can go here to that environment, and it'll link me right to what that environment looks like. So this will pull up the production instance that's currently running in Azure. Okay, so we can see the bookstore is up, and we're going to add some stars here for the rating feature. But you can see the version that's being used right here. All right, so let's go ahead and start to make those changes. We'll go back to our bookstore, and then I'm going to start a code space. So if we go to code here, I can launch a new code space into this main branch to make these changes. Now you can also specify the size of your code code space, and if you want to pick something a little bit more, let's say 4-core 8 gig of RAM, we can create a code space here, and this will spin up Visual Studio Code within a container based on those build specifications, so the 4 CPUs that are being used here. So it'll spin up that container. It will take a few moments to get this connected, but then it will automatically clone that repo into it, and then we're ready to get to work. So that took about 30 seconds to spin up that container for us on Azure. And we're in our directory here, our repo here. We're on the main branch. And this is all the data that's contained within our repo. Here's the source that we're going to be compiling some Java code. We've got our GitHub repo with all those GitHub repo subdirectory rather. It's got all our actions and stuff stored in there under workflows. And we've got a VS Code directory, so we can store tasks and settings that we want to apply to VS Code. Store all those in our repo. All right, so we've got two changes that we're going to make. We're going to add that star rating, and of course we're going to add the book search. So I'm going to do Shift Command P here. That'll pull up the command palette, and then we'll just do I think that's run tasks. Yeah, there it is. And then code feature, and these are canned within our VS Code, so it knows that it's going to be compiling one of these. And we'll do the star rating feature. We'll go ahead and apply that. It says press enter to confirm, and it'll just take the default name for that. And that was it. It's already applied the change. And so we've got a star rating feature that's been added. We'll clear this up, Control C out of there. And now let's go ahead and push those changes to our repo. So we'll just do git git status first. Make sure that all those, yeah, all right, so here's all the files that were changed. And here's our on branch, right? So it created a branch for us dynamically, which is the feature bookstore rating. And then we'll do git add, we'll put everything, and then git commit m add star rating, and then git push set, we're switching our branch here, so we're getting out of main, so set the upstream origin feature book star rating. That should push our code up. Yep, all right, so that's been deployed now. So if we do git status, we're all clean, and we'll clear that. Now we've got that other feature, so we did the stars. Let's go ahead and while we're here, we'll just do the other one, which is the search. So here's book search. We'll go ahead and apply that. Again, I'm just specifying or allowing the defaults. So I'm just going to press enter, and it's going to create this new branch here. No, that's not it. It's created a new branch here, feature book search. That's the one that's created. So we'll Control C out of this, and then we can do git status. Shows us our changes. There we go. And then we can go ahead and commit those. So git add everything, and then we'll do git commit search feature, and then git push set, again, because I'm changing branches here, upstream origin that. All right, so that should push our changes, and then git status. Everything's been committed. Okay, that's great. So now we've added those two features to our application. If we go back to the repo, we'll see that there's a couple of changes that occurred. Let me just go ahead and refresh the screen. All right, we've got some compares, right? So it says compare and submit a pull request. So let's just jump into our pull request first of all. And we haven't committed the pull request yet. We've just made the changes on these other branches. We're going to go ahead and do that now. So let's first take a look at the feature search star rating pull request. And I'm not going to add any additional details here. We're just going to create the pull request. And there's some actions that get kicked off. You'll see that running here. So the actions are starting to run now. It's going to compile the Java code with the changes that we've made, and then it's going to go ahead and start to deploy those or stage them for deployment. So it's going to go through all these checks. Now for this particular repo, it's just looking at the code, and we should not have any issues with this one from a security perspective. The other one we should have a security problem that we're going to go in and repair. All right, so let's go ahead and go back to pull request to grab that other pull request. And we've got the book search feature here. We'll go ahead and commit that pull request. We can definitely add in additional notes. And you can see the changes here that are being applied. And we'll go ahead and create that pull request. And again, this gets submitted and those actions get kicked off, runner jobs get started, the build process starts, takes those code, and we're still compiling on two separate branches here. So we're not merging into main at this point. We're just building the pull request and all the changes that need to be committed to main. All right, so this is going to take a few minutes for both of these to complete. Let's go back to our pull requests, and we can see that this little orange dot here says that it's still running. The star rating should actually happen pretty quickly, so I would expect this to finish first. So I'm just going to wait just a couple of seconds, and then I'll be right back. Again, this shouldn't take very long. I'll be right back. Okay, so that didn't take very long, and it's probably like another 30 seconds here. And so we've got an action that provides this code coverage, shows you some status of the code, and then here's the results of our all of our scanning that we put in from actions. Again, CodeQL, looking for everything that's within that repo, making sure that the code was correct. There's no vulnerabilities within the code. This all looks pretty good to me. I can go ahead and merge it since I'm the code owner. If you're not the code owner, then you can have someone review it. So you can specify that I need X amount of reviewers, and then identify who those reviewers are, whether they're an individual or a team. But again, because I'm the code owner, I'm just going to go ahead and merge that pull request into our repo here. So we'll just do that, merge that in. Okay, so that's being merged in now. And if we go back to our primary repo location, and let's take a look at our packages. So here we had that one package that started, which was the one that we were running. But now we've got two snapshots here, and these are for each one of those features. So here's the snapshot that it was created when it did the Bookstore rating, and then here's the snapshot that it built when you did the book search. So both of those are in there. The pull request now should be merging the Bookstore feature into our main. Okay, so we merged that into our main. I should have put that in staging first, but to show you how that works. But you can see that we're now in progress here. So it's taking the snapshot from the Bookstore rating, and it's rebuilding it, and it'll redeploy it, and we'll get a new view deployment over here with that new image, and we'll be able to compare that that's been completed. All right, so let's take a look at our other pull request. So it looks like we have an issue here, right? So we go into this pull request. We can scroll down, and we'll see that we've got an issue. And sure enough, we've got a code scanning result issue here. Let's go to details. And under the details view, we could take a look at this a little bit more. Again, I like the show details part, so let's do that. And this does a couple of things for us. First, it gives us an idea of the alert. But if we go to CodeQL, we can do show paths, and it actually shows in your code how that issue became a vulnerability, right? So we've got a SQL injection here, and it shows you step by step, how that became a vulnerability. And that's pretty good for developers because it actually shows you the path of it. But one other thing that's really cool too is if I go to show more, there's, within this screen, they provide information related to the vulnerability and then some examples of how to fix it, right? So here's an example of like a bad SQL query, and here's an example of a better written SQL query, if you will. So you could take this into consideration in the future as you start to build code, but it gives you right now, as you've got this vulnerability, in front of you, how to potentially fix that so your commit will be resolved. So let's go ahead and jump into that, and we'll do that from our Visual Studio environment. And there's a couple of things we need to edit. So we'll go to source main Java service, and I'm looking for the database one right here. I think it was line 120. Sure enough. So here's our SQL injection right here. So we're going to go ahead and make that change. And I have the update off screen here just so you don't have to watch me type. And we'll just put that in right there and pull that out. Okay, so we fixed that. We'll go ahead and commit that, and then we'll go ahead and push it. Git add everything, git commit fix SQL injection, git push. All right, so that's been repaired. And if we go back to our repo now, we can take a look at our pull request, and we should see, sure enough, it's going through the checks again. So it's automatically being reprocessed by those actions. If we can scroll down here and see that. So now, because we've made a change and we pushed those changes into the repos, into the repo, it has to go through all those actions again and kind of recompile everything. And one of the GitHub engineers I was talking to kind of said it well. GitHub, the GitHub CodeQL is a little bit different because it's not just providing you the recipe, but it's taking the recipe, baking the cake, and then telling you how it tastes when it's done. So there's a lot of components within it that scans every layer within CodeQL. And you can also tie in external CodeQL, anything that supports Serif, you can import. So there's a lot of other things you can plug directly into CodeQL, so you don't have to just rely on its scanning ability. You have a lot of other scanners also part of that. So we're you're going to have to wait just a couple of seconds for this compiling to complete, and then we'll be able to go ahead and submit this as a merge request or pull request to merge as well. All right, so let's take a look at where we're at with our Bookstore. And if we go to, I think let's jump in the code, and then I can scroll down and see if it looks like our prod environment's up. And if we take a look at that, so now we've got, this is the first one that we had, and 6 minutes ago, it recompiled it and deployed it for our star ratings that was added. We can kind of view this deployment now. Okay, so now when we're looking at our new environment, we can see that the star rating was actually added. So it compiled it, and then it validated it, and then it deployed it into production. So we're all set to go there. And now if we go back to our pull request here, it looks like our book feature has been approved. We can scroll down and take a look at that. To make sure that everything looks good. Everything looks good here. Again, as the code owner, I can go ahead and merge this pull request, and we'll confirm the merge. And it'll push those changes into main. And once that happens, then it's going to go through that whole process again to validate our build. So if we take a look at actions, we'll see that sure enough, it's taken that code from the book search. So this is the book search, and it's going to go ahead and run those actions to make sure that it's clean before it gets merged into our main branch. And then it will use that snapshot that we had in packages. Let me go back to that. And so now we got a few snapshots, right? Because we had a new compile after we fixed it, which was 2 minutes ago. So this book search will be committed into main as well, and it'll build a new image and deploy that image for us into production. So in this very brief demo, I guess, we went through a couple of things. We went through that we had an application here. We created a couple of pull requests. We reviewed packages and how those images are stored within packages. We also took a look at the environment tag. One thing I skipped showing you was adding the label for staging and then have it deployed to a staging environment. I went ahead and merged it just to save us a little bit of time and skip that. But you can add labels to your pull requests so it could build it in a separate test QA environment if you want, and then run them side by side before you actually do the merge. I should have done that. I'll do that in a later demo. And we covered some of the basics here: issues, pull requests, the actions that are running within the platform. We covered some of the security basis, secret scanning, CodeQL, and I touched a little bit on Dependabot and some of the settings related to those. So now we've got an up and running cluster or up and running instance with our new web store. All the features have been applied, and everything was running directly within Azure on GitHub Enterprise Cloud. So I hope you got something out of this video. More videos to come, and one thing I want to again address is interacting between OpenShift and GitHub. And so we're going to cover some of those videos in the future. But anyway, I hope you got something out of this video. Please like, subscribe, and share this. And let me know if you have any questions. I'm always happy to answer and help folks out. Anyway, appreciate it. Thanks for watching the video. Until next time.